215 is out of there. This thing is moving to the northeast at roughly 55 to 60 miles an hour. So it is already on top of Cynthiana, and the worst is now just to the north of downtown Cynthiana. Poindexter, if you live along 62, if you live along 27 or 36 here, you got to keep in mind that storm is making its way through. So if we are getting a weak tornado, it would be just to the north of downtown Cynthiana, near Poindexter and heading toward Venus, and eventually that may cross into Robertson County, which is in a jurisdiction that belongs to the National Weather Service up in Wilmington, Ohio. So that is your tornado warning. Hey, Lexington, the light show is tremendous right now. These storms not considered to be severe at the moment. And we're watching this line of thunderstorms that goes through Harrodsburg into Boyle County and across Campbellsville. And the circulation with this now is moving off to the east. So we got to keep an eye on that. They have not extended that tornado warning as of yet, but the track on this would take it to the east very quickly. And watching these thunderstorms coming out of northern parts of Tennessee into south central Kentucky. So Harrison County right now, we're going to find that safe shelter. Safest place is the basement interior room on the first floor. If you're in a mobile home, you want to get out of there ASAP. And no matter where you're seeking shelter, we have to cover our head in a situation like this. It's a good time. We always remind you during a tornado warning, protect your head however you can. If you got an old football helmet, an old hard hat, you got an old batting helmet, an old baseball helmet, anything like that, put it on and protect your head above all else. That is the one thing we tell you to do. Now, if you're in a home and you're thinking, okay, wait a minute, I forgot exactly where I'm supposed to go. Let's help you out here real quickly, okay? Areas in red, you want to avoid those. See the green? You get toward the interior room on the lowest floor possible. A bathroom is going to give you shelter, but the safest place to be, the absolute best place to be, is in a basement, and that's where you need to be if you're watching us right now into the Harrison County area with that tornado warning that is out across downtown Cynthiana. And I'm still watching the rest of the region too, so I've got to step off screen from time to time. There's your tornado warning. That thing is trucking its way across parts of Harrison County very, very quickly. National Weather Service with that storm that was located near Cynthiana, moving east at around 45 miles an hour. They're also saying the circulation around Taylor County is weakening. Good news there. So that tornado warning is likely to be allowed to expire, at least for now, into Taylor County. And that continues to move its way toward the east very, very quickly. So again, Harrison County, we are under that tornado warning up until 2:15, but even here, looking at the radar, the storm appears to be weakening somewhat. So that is certainly some good news. And what you're dealing with now is a storm that is wasting zero time getting to the northeast of Cynthiana. So the circulation on that is rather broad. It's not the strongest in the world, but again, one thing we caution you here, you're kind of in between radar sites, so sometimes that beam will overshoot the low-level circulation. So Cynthiana and points northeast, that is where the worst of the weather is currently located. So Cynthiana, folks in Harrison County, we're waking up to the storm sirens that are going off right now. This is not a confirmed tornado. This is a radar-indicated tornado, and the worst of this is now passing by Cynthiana and working off to the east and northeast very, very quickly. Mount Olivet, Robertson County, maybe far northern parts of Nicholas County. You guys would be next in line for that storm, but just based on the pure radar image that we're looking at here, that storm has weakened just a little bit over the past 5 minutes or so. Hey, folks in Lexington, Woodford County, Harrodsburg, and Mercer County, and point southwest from there, line of strong and severe thunderstorms is working its way on through the region. You can see how that line of thunderstorms has a ton of lightning with it. But again, I'm not seeing any any spins within that line into central Kentucky, so that is good news. You can also notice here in Harrison County, one of the ways we can tell that storm is weakening a little bit, what little bit of lightning it had, it's losing that lightning. So the tornado warning goes until 2:15. I don't know that we're going to see the expiration time on that particular tornado warning. Storm's secondary line is kind of popping from around the Corinth area, southern parts of Grant County, southern Pendleton County. That goes back into southern Henry County, Shelbyville, and that is that second line that is making its way on through. So we like to see two lines like that. That means we got a little competition in the atmosphere, and it keeps any one particular storm from ramping up and going gangbusters. So that is certainly some good news there. We'll watch that tornado warning that continues in effect for Harrison County, and we'll see if that is allowed to expire. But the tornado warning for Marion and Taylor is expiring, so that is at least some good news. We're clearing that particular tornado warning, and what I'll do, we'll go in and let's just look through this line, because I haven't had a chance to since we've been on air with the Harrison County tornado. We're going to see what kind of spin that we are seeing. Notice here in Campbellsville, yeah, that thing has really lost the rotation. Along that line into central Kentucky, nothing that stands out in terms of any spin, so that is certainly good. What we're doing, the little crosshairs there, folks, that's me looking inside the thunderstorms for the winds, and we're looking for any kind of spin or anything that kind of sets off any alarm bells in my head to say, hey, wait a minute, we got to kind of keep an eye on this. But right now, nothing along that line, and even that weak rotation that we had here into Harrison County has now weakened tremendously, and that is off to the northeast of us. That whole line of thunderstorms that is into Harrison County has pushed farther to the northeast, and so downtown Cynthiana, hey, listen, we'll sound the all clear on this one for downtown Cynthiana. The worst of this storm is to the northeast of us now and heading just to the east of the Oddville area, and that is working its way quickly toward Mount Olivet into Robertson County, where there's already a severe thunderstorm warning from an earlier storm. So Lexington, point south and southwest, it is noisy right now, but we're not picking up on severe thunderstorms. They're just noisy thunderstorms here into the Lexington metro. Here's the WKYT tower cam, because I was seeing some big flashes of lightning on this just a second ago, and we'll look at this to see what we're dealing with now. You can see the heavy rain that is hitting our camera 300 feet above my head. That's on our tower. It gives you a great view, 360 view of Lexington and all around us. And that heavy rain is working its way on through the region right now, where gusts have been up there, even pre-thunderstorm wind gusts we had closing in on 50 miles an hour just a little bit ago. I'm not seeing a whole lot of high winds right now into Lexington. That thunderstorm into Owen County a little bit ago, just a half hour ago, looks like a 54-mile-an-hour gust. That is the highest wind gust that I can find so far. But your tornado warnings that are still out, we're expiring that tornado warning into Marion County and into Taylor County. So great news there. We will see what happens with the tornado warning into Harrison County, but the radar is showing that storm is pretty much now moving its way on out of town. And keep in mind, tornado watch continues. That was expanded to include Lexington, was expanded to include Harrison County, and goes until 3 o'clock this morning, so that's about another hour or so. But the storms now are getting into the time of night and the location that everything suggested we would start to see a little downward trend in the overall severity of these storms. And we're seeing just that, even though we got the big noisemaker that is showing up right on top of us here in Lexington. Watching that cell coming out of northern parts of Tennessee too. So if you're down in Clinton, Cumberland counties, Wayne County, hey, we'll keep an eye on that, because there's a little better instability available across far southern Kentucky down toward Nashville, Tennessee. Tornado warning gets right to the state line. So we'll follow that line of thunderstorms. Columbia, Dare County, there's your warning that is expiring for Campbellsville and southern Marion County. The storm is essentially out of there. The strongest storms, at least on radar, are on top of Harrodsburg into southern Garrett County and on top of Nicholasville and getting into Lexington, where we're not seeing a whole lot of high winds with this. At least I'm not seeing the observations reporting that, but it's more of a booming thunderstorm that is jolting a lot of folks out of bed with a lot of heavy rain, some 30-40 mile-an-hour wind gusts, and certainly those lightning strikes and the booming thunder. There's a tornado warning for Cynthiana, but boy, you can look at that and you can see that storm has weakened tremendously, and it's essentially out of the current tornado warning. So we'll see if the National Weather Service out of Louisville goes ahead, if they go ahead and just kind of pull the trigger and put a cancellation on that warning, since it is essentially now out of Harrison County. So we'll get hopefully confirmation coming up from the National Weather Service shortly. But into Cynthiana, the worst of that storm is off to the northeast. I understand you're probably still hearing the sirens going on into Harrison County. Kiddos, we're going to be scared, but we got this. The storm has weakened tremendously, and we're watching it for you guys. No report of a tornado. This is one of those radar indicated tornadoes where the Weather Service was looking inside that, seeing a bit of a spin that could have prompted a tornado to fire up. And what we can do, we can look and do the exact same thing, and that's what we're going to do here. We'll start looking inside these storms from the Robertson County area, Mason County, back into Harrison County, where there's nothing that is standing out. Lexington, nothing that is overly concerning. You can see where that strong line of winds is right now into southern parts of Woodford County, down into Mercer County, heading toward Danville, and eventually getting over into sections of Garrett County. So Richmond, we'll keep an eye on this line of storms that continues to work its way on through and is ramping up with the overall lightning with that, but I'm still not seeing a whole lot of damaging wind reports coming from this. So we've cleared that tornado warning into Marion County and Taylor County. We have the one lone dog tornado warning that is out into Harrison County. But a quick look at your radar picture will show that storm, it's no longer there. So the warning technically goes until 2:15. But again, the radar trends with this showing a much better storm, and a much better looking storm in terms of it's losing the severity. This isn't even a severe thunderstorm as of right now. So that tornado warning is out by the National Weather Service for 15 more minutes. And just keep checking chat, hoping that we can get a cancellation on that and completely sound the all clear. But just looking at the radar, that storm is a shell of its former self. It's not even in Harrison County anymore. So if you're in Cynthiana right now, you know what? That storm is by you guys. Lexington, though, folks who are being jolted out of bed, listen, we timed this in. That future radar said right at 2 o'clock, give or take a little bit, that line of thunderstorms is going to be into Lexington. It was showing this 2 days ago that 2 a.m. would be roughly the time that the worst of the weather would hit central Kentucky. Well, here we are, 2 o'clock, and here we are on air with severe thunderstorm warnings and the one tornado warning. That's our tower cam, where the lightning continues to show up from time to time, and you can see that in the distance, and the heavy rain, which you may even hear on my microphone on the rooftop here on Winchester Road, coming down at a pretty good clip. So the tornado warning for Harrison County has now been canceled. How about that? That's what we like to see, because that storm has been out of Harrison County for about 5-10 minutes or so. So good news, Harrison County, your tornado warning has been canceled. So that is completely done with. We have no active warnings in our immediate coverage area. That's the first time for a little bit now, for about 45 minutes, I guess, we've been talking about severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods, but it means, at least for right now, we have no active severe weather warnings here across central Kentucky. So that tornado warning that was out for Harrison County, boom, we take that off there. That is gone as of now. So certainly some great news there. Harrison County, you guys are in the clear. Kiddos, we promised you we'd make it through this, and we're in good shape as of right now. So I'm going to clean up my radar views that we saved for you, and now we'll focus on, well, the strong thunderstorms that are into central Kentucky. And I'm not going to just keep in coverage for absolutely zero reason tonight, but I want to make sure that for folks who are awake now, that you guys know what we're dealing with, and that the overall severity of those thunderstorms is coming down. So your tornado watch is out for central Kentucky. That goes until 3. Does include Lexington, although this line is just about to the far eastward extent of that particular watch box. No warnings across central Kentucky as of right now. Booming thunderstorms into central Kentucky, the Lexington metro especially, and in northern Kentucky, where we had all kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings. Things are calming down. Watching these storms into central Kentucky, listen, folks, right now it's more bark than bites. And that is exactly what we are hoping continues as we go through the remainder of the overnight. These thunderstorms are forecast to be calming down from here, and that is the trend of the moment. And we'll watch this stuff coming out of Tennessee and keep it right here on WKYT. And if we get any more warnings, listen, I'm going to break in immediately and let you know and keep you guys safe. So right now, we're sounding the all clear for the time being. No warnings across central or eastern Kentucky. All severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings have expired. Keep it right here on WKYT. We'll keep you up to date. And more importantly, we'll keep you safe.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already.
Indicated tornado that we're dealing with here. It would be just to the west of Whitley City. We can slow this down and we can go in and inspect the storm, and you could see that circulation, that spin is right over the cooperative area heading toward Whitley City. That's going to cross over 27 here within a matter of a minute or so. And what we're likely hearing now into McCreary County and especially over into Whitley County, the tornado sirens are likely sounding as we watch this part of the storm racing to the east-northeast at, again, roughly 60 miles per hour. And on that particular trajectory, it will not take long before this gets into I-75 between Williamsburg and Corbin. And the warning does not include Barberville into Knox County, but boy, it gets right up there. And the forward speed on this, again, 60 miles an hour. So this thing is trucking. To the north of it, that's a potent thunderstorm that is just to the northwest of downtown London in Laurel County. But again, our storm that is coming into Whitley County out of McCreary County in the next 10 minutes or so is going to be the one to watch. So the worst of this storm is just to the north of Whitley City, and that is, again, right on top of 27 and points just to the west of that, the Rittner area and Highway 92. If you live into that particular area, that is where you need to be seeking that safe shelter immediately here across the northern part of McCreary County. That is going to stay to the south of Pulaski County. Pulaski County over into Laurel County, we've got our own strong thunderstorms. We had a severe thunderstorm warning with that a little bit ago. That has been allowed to expire. But overall, everything that we've got is pointing toward this possible tornado that is taking shape with this cell heading toward Whitley City. You need to be in your safe shelter immediately if you're into McCreary County and over into Whitley County. Chances are here very shortly we're going to hear the tornado sirens going off in those particular counties. That's if we have not already heard those tornado sirens into those areas. So you're waking up right now. Chances are you are going to be a little scared with the tornado warning that is coming in, rightfully so. It's the middle of the night. A lot of folks probably just being jolted out of bed, hearing their phones going off with the tornado alert and the sirens that are sounding as well. Right now, this is not a confirmed tornado. This is a radar indicated tornado. The overall line of thunderstorms has been decreasing on the northern side of that, but when we did our last cut in about 15 minutes or so ago, we said, hey, this storm into southern parts of Wayne County that was crossing its way over into McCreary County had some spin with it. This was the closest of the bunch to the instability that was across parts of southern Kentucky and down into Tennessee. Tennessee especially, they've been hard hit over the past couple of hours, and this storm is right on the northern edge of that best instability that we've been seeing coming out of Tennessee. But if you notice, this is the only game in town right now in terms of any warnings across Kentucky or even on this map. Northern Tennessee, things have calmed down, but that storm, all of a sudden, as it got into Wayne County and into McCreary County, boy, it started to get a little spin on it, and we've still got that going, and that red polygon is your tornado warning that is embedded within that tornado watch. It's a small part of southern and southeastern Kentucky that goes until 7 this morning. Now, it's never going to see that expiration time. The threat will have diminished by 7 this morning. But in particular concern is the one lone dog tornado warning that we've got across the entire map. There's another broken band of some thunderstorms developing right along our front to the west of Frankfort. That one, it's not floating my boat. Nothing with that is getting my attention. The only storm that has shown some rotation over the past half hour, 45 minutes or so, is essentially the one that we're tracking now here coming into Whitley City. We'll watch that storm around London as well, northern parts of Laurel County. Here is the potential tornado, Whitley City. This is 27, a busy corridor. A lot of folks live along that. And again, we're seeing that bit of a rotation that is essentially right in here. And it's rolling quickly to the east and the northeast. This storm is not wasting any time getting through McCreary County. It's hightailing it to the northeast at roughly 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's the forward speed of this storm. So if you're watching this right now from Williamsburg to Corbin, you're thinking, well, this is still to the west of me. I'm going to give it a little time before I get in my safe shelter. Well, this thing's trucking at 50 to 60 miles an hour. So you may want to go ahead and do just that and get to that safe shelter. Farther to the north, we got a strong thunderstorm near London. The rest of the region is dealing with some showers and thunderstorms that are run-of-the-mill, but they've got some gusts up around 50 miles per hour. Broaden that view out a little bit, and now the only tornado warning that we got across the country is into southeastern Kentucky. Severe thunderstorm warnings are down into the volunteer state of Tennessee. So if you're watching us now into the Williamsburg area, into Corbin, into Whitley City, and maybe far southern Laurel County and western Knox County, well, technically you're in that warning. The worst of this may stay just to the south of Laurel County, but you need to be seeking that safe shelter immediately. Where's the safest place? Listen, we tell you this all the time. It is the basement. And if you don't have a basement, let's face it, a lot of us don't. So we're going to get to the lowest floor possible, and we're going to cover our heads wherever we go. Make sure we cover our heads. If you've got an old hard hat, an old batting helmet, old baseball helmet, football helmet, bicycle helmet. Kids, we got a lot of bicycle helmets. And for the little ones who are up right now with this tornado warning, you're seeking that shelter, and you can hear me. Hang in there. I promise you we're going to get through this. We're just going to remember all those tornado drills we had at school not that long ago, just a few weeks ago, and we go through these routinely. Remember what we are always telling you when we come and do school visits. Just take a deep breath and listen to our parents or guardians, whoever we're with right now. Let's get to that safe shelter, and we're going to ride this thing out. We're going to be okay. As long as we take that shelter right now, we're going to be all right. All right, tornado safety. Where should we be taking that shelter? Well, in this particular instance, anything that is in the red, you don't want to be there. You want to be on the interior part of the lowest floor possible. The object is to put as many walls between you and the possible tornado as you can. So get in that interior hallway, get in a closet, maybe a small bathroom as well. And obviously the safest place that you can get into is a basement. That is exactly where you want to be. Now, mobile homes, that's a no-go. All right, so if you're in a mobile home right now and you can get to a sturdy, safe shelter, that is exactly where you need to be, because mobile homes are no match for high winds, let alone a possible tornado. And again, this is nothing that is confirmed yet from the National Weather Service in Jackson. This is in their territory, but we continue to watch that spin, that rotation that is crossing over 27 right now. So this is now making its way through the Whitley City area and will continue to roll its way to the east-northeast. So if you live between, let's say, Corbin and Williamsburg, you need to be seeking that shelter immediately, because you got just a few minutes before that storm is upon you with that possible tornado. And folks into southern Laurel County, you're technically in that tornado warning, but it is the worst of that is just off to the south of us from Corbin down toward Williamsburg, and that's what we're watching. So I'm checking in with the Weather Service just to see severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over the Youngs Creek area, 9 miles northwest of Williamsburg. Whoa, this thing is moving to the east-northeast at 80 miles per hour right now. That's the forward speed. I'm not talking about the wind speed. I'm talking about the forward speed of that storm. So they're clocking this thing moving to the east-northeast now at roughly 80 miles per hour. And if we are to see a tornado, it would be right in this general area on top of 27. Man, 80 mile per hour storm in terms of the forward movement. So again, hey, Corbin, Williamsburg, sirens are going off, phones being activated. and the sirens are just going to keep blaring for a little while. Get in that safe shelter, because this thing moving to the northeast at 80 miles an hour. I mean, you're talking about what, 10, 15 miles as the crow flies from where this is to Corbin and Williamsburg, and I'm just using those two cities as a highlighter here. Obviously, if you're anywhere across this area that is under the warning, you need to be seeking that same shelter. We're trying to take care of everybody right now, but we're just kind of using some reference points here. So Whitley City, Corbin, Williamsburg, get in the safe shelter now. This storm is to the east of Whitley City already. The radar image is going to catch up with that. And then we're watching areas just to our north with a strong thunderstorm that is into London, Laurel County. But that is not the concern. The concern continues to be right here. And the green showing the winds that are coming around in this direction. And then you've got the blues and a little bit of red showing up in there now where the winds are going in the opposite direction. So we've got essentially the winds inside this storm are going counterclockwise. Good signature here for a potential at least weak tornado spinning up here across the Whitley City area of McCreary County. So this is the 27 corridor. A lot of folks live along 27. Pine Knot, this is just to our north. This is right on top of Whitley City and is heading just to the north of downtown Williamsburg and toward the Corbin area. So again, those sirens are sounding in those areas as of now. Here's what the radar image looks like. So you can see the forward speed on this. And again, the forward speed, the movement on this is at 80 miles per hour. That'll be into Williamsburg, Corbin, and into western Knox County, where you have this tornado warning as well. That'll be into those areas in just a matter of 10 minutes or so. I mean, that thing isn't going to waste any time. So here's the overall radar image with that line of thunderstorms, and I'm watching the rest of this line too, just to see if we pop a warning, which is not the case as of now. There's your tornado warning. This goes for a little under 20 minutes now. It goes until 3:45 this morning, and it is for that cell that is now moving to the east of Whitley City. So you can see how that spin is now past Whitley City. It's now past 27, and it is working its way toward the Whitley and McCreary County line very, very quickly. So it is not wasting any time. So because it is moving so fast, I'm going to step off here and we're going to adjust everything on the fly so we can kind of get downstream of this and where this thing is going. So again, that rotation is crossing out of McCreary County and it is heading into Whitley County right now. So if you are in Whitley County, do me that solid, and especially in the northern part of Whitley County, and get in that storm shelter immediately, because the radar image that we're looking at is indeed showing rotation with this storm that is crossing its way out of Whitley County, or out of the Whitley City area, McCreary County, and into areas of western and northern parts of Whitley County. So what I want to do on this is I want to go in and show exactly some other areas that are showing up. So there's Youngs Creek, there's the Walden area, there's Interstate 75. There you go with Williamsburg. Downtown Williamsburg, technically not in this, but boy, that gets into the northern part of the city. So if you're watching us now, 25W Redbird and over toward Honeybee, that is over into the eastern part of McCreary County, and Youngs Creek there into Whitley County, get in that safe shelter immediately, and that'll head toward Corbin. Corbin, the tornado sirens are blaring right now. We're hearing that into southern parts of Laurel County, Keavy. You know, it may be a close call. Right now it's passing by just to our south into that part of the area, and we've got a couple of cams down into this particular area, and what we can do, we can pull up the Corbin cam right on top of Interstate 75. So if we are to get a tornado that would be in the vicinity of this cam, obviously it would pick it up, but right now that is not the case. The only warning that is out across the area is that tornado warning across southern Kentucky into McCreary County, into as far southern parts of Laurel County, over into Knox County and the northern half of Whitley County. Tornado watch for that area goes until 7 as well. We're never going to see the expiration time on that, because once this thunderstorm essentially gets through there, the threat is ending, and we'll see if that holds together. So that line hitting eastern Kentucky. For the most part, it's falling apart. The southern edge of this, when I did that last cut-in for you guys, now I guess a half hour or so ago, this was coming out of Clinton, Cumberland counties into Wayne County, and I said, you know, this had a tornado warning with it into Tennessee a little bit ago, and it was showing some signs it was trying to spin back up. Well, that spin decided, yep, we're going to do that again. Here into Wayne County, McCreary County. The worst of this is right on top of the Whitley and McCreary County line. So here's the possible tornado. This would be just to the south of 90, which runs from Whitley County into McCreary County. So right there is where that possible tornado is. And again, this is going to get a little too close for comfort into downtown Williamsburg. So that is moving to the east-northeast at roughly 80 miles per hour. So the radars are playing catch up in the forward speed of this thing because it is just trucking along. Here's Interstate 75, here's Corbin, here's Williamsburg, here is that possible tornado. Nothing that has been confirmed, but you're seeing the signature on radar. So in the little crosshairs that we're looking at here, what we're doing is that we're essentially giving the thunderstorm an X-ray. But instead of looking at the rain like you normally see on a radar, we're looking at the winds. So the radars are now, they're so sophisticated, you know this, you've seen us do a lot of tornado warning coverage through the years, but they're so sophisticated they can look inside a thunderstorm and see the wind and then color code everything based on the direction that wind is going. So you don't like to see the contrasting colors right against one another because the blues here and a little bit of red suggesting winds are coming in this general direction. The green suggesting winds are going in the opposite direction. So you put all that together and you can see how you've got a bit of rotation that is showing up just to the south of 90. And that's where folks need to really be in that storm shelter immediately as that works its way on through.
You just one pass over messes and can leave the rest behind. So Shark created a more intelligent path to cleaning. The Shark AI Ultra is the one and only robot with matrix clean navigation that creates a precise matrix grid. The Shark AI Ultra will clean up and back, then side to side, for multiple passes over messes from multiple directions, leaving no spots missed. It even increases suction power to give you 30% better cleaning on carpets. Now from Shark, a robot can finally deliver the ultimate level of clean you want.
In my kitchen, my hallway, my living room, it just does a deep clean.
Indeed fallen apart somewhat compared to what we were dealing with a little bit ago as it made its way into western Kentucky. No reports of an actual tornado. The sirens are going off as of right now. We're getting in on, we've got folks that are down there into Wayne County, into McCreary County, into Whitley County that are looking at what is going on in terms of any reports of damage or anything like that, and crews that are out surveying and looking and so far haven't.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Right now on Beautiful Homes and Great Estates. Soaring high above the Santa Monica Mountains in the Hollywood Hills.
So the potential of that tornado now is going to pass just to the north of Williamsburg and looks like between Corbin and Williamsburg for the worst of the weather that is making its way on through. Now, Knox County, listen, this thing is holding together and it is trying to cross Interstate 75 in just about 5 minutes from now. And from that point, you are not too far away from the western part of Knox County. So
Immerse yourself in a sublime retreat of serenity and excellence at the Bodie One Estate.
There are so many areas of this home that could be defined as the heart of the house, from the grand entry hall when you walk in to face the incredible views, the 2 living rooms upstairs, the living room downstairs that leads onto the pool.
Marvel at this architectural masterpiece and sweeping
So that means that's a good sign. if you see a little broader rotation. If you see the colors that are really just tightly packed, then you don't want to see that, because that means that storm is really, really spinning and wrapping up. But when we start to see a little broader rotation, like appears to be the case now in the northern parts of Whitley County, that may be an indication that the storm is trying its best to weaken. And just looking at the pure radar image there, yeah, that storm has weakened from when we first came on the air, and I think it's weakening at a pretty good clip as of right now. But that tornado warning does continue in effect across southern Kentucky. So let's reset it all, walk you through it. So you're watching us here in southern Kentucky. The alarms are going off on your phone. The apps, every app is alerting you. Your weather app, your WKYT weather app, if you got it programmed, is giving you all the instructions right now what to do. You're hearing the storm sirens that are going off. Just take a deep breath. It's scary. It's the middle of the night. We're talking, it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Hang in there. We got this, kiddos. Don't be afraid. Just follow the grown-ups' lead here. They're going to put you in a safe spot. Take a deep breath, sing a song, take a coloring book in there, a video game, whatever, all right? We're going to get through this. Just follow the rules that we always come up with. Remember all the severe weather safety, the tornado drills that we have in school. That's why we have those. That way you guys know exactly what to do. And again, into southern Kentucky right now, we got that tornado warning and that tornado watch until 7. So that line extends from roughly Ashland towards southern Kentucky. We're losing, thankfully, this storm. It has weakened considerably. Not only are we losing just the structure of that when I look inside the storm, but on the radar image, notice how the lightning all of a sudden starts to wimp out just a little bit. So we've cut back on that tornado warning extensively. So now what is left of that tornado warning is between Williamsburg and Corbin. So you can see how that is blinking. But we still have that little bit of a spin between Corbin and Williamsburg. This is crossing over. If there is a tornado, it's crossing over Interstate 75 right now and heading toward northeastern parts of Whitley County and northwestern parts of Knox County. We'll see if the Weather Service extends this out a little bit, but the overall structure of the storm is decreasing, and the overall, what we look at here with the spin or the rotation within that is much broader now. Let's hope it doesn't cycle back and tighten back up, because if that's the case, then we would see that tornado warning extended a little farther downstream. Folks to the north of this, no warnings are out, but it's noisy into Laurel County, into northern parts of Clay County, Manchester, up toward the Burning Springs area, and look at the strong thunderstorms, Beattyville, Campton, West Liberty, Sandy Hook into northeastern Kentucky. Nothing severe with that, but they are noisy, and they're putting down winds gusting upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour. So give it another hour and the majority of this line is out of Kentucky. But where we have that tornado warning right now, we're going to keep repeating these storm safety, the tornado safety rules until that warning is no more and until we can officially sound the all clear. You need to find that safe shelter. A basement is the preferable place if you can't find a basement, and obviously many of us don't have a basement. So we're going to get to the lowest floor, and we're going to get to an interior room or a hallway. We're going to cover our heads above all else. Cover the noggin, folks, because many injuries occur from flying debris hitting you in the head. So listen, it doesn't matter how silly we look. If we got a batting helmet on, let's put it on, an old football helmet, a bicycle helmet, anything that will protect your head as of now. So there's the little sliver of a tornado warning that continues in effect into northern parts of Whitley County and northwestern parts of Knox County and a very small part of southern sections of Laurel County. So in Laurel County, because that does include, it doesn't include London, but it does include far southern parts of the county and down into Corbin, which is right on the Laurel, Knox, and Whitley County line. So chances are you're hearing the tornado sirens in London, but the tornado warning is not for London itself. It is for far southern parts of Laurel County. And that storm, again, is out of the Whitley City area. It is right on top of Interstate 75, and that rotation is much more broad now. It is not as defined, but I would imagine at this point we only have 6 minutes left in that tornado warning. The National Weather Service is probably just going to let that thing ride until 3:45 and then make that determination on whether or not to extend it downstream. But the good signal that we're picking up on is that that storm is weakening just a little bit, or actually quite a bit, as it made its way through. But that tornado warning continues in effect for Knox, Laurel, and Whitley until 3:45. That severe thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado located over Bertha Station, about 7 miles northwest of Barberville, and it is moving to the east at 80 miles per hour. A thunderstorm moving at 80 miles an hour, folks, is going to be on top of you before you know it. And again, it's the only game in town in terms of any warnings that are out across the entire area, not just Kentucky, but you look at the region. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning down across I-40 into Tennessee, but that is all she wrote right now in terms of a tornado warning. We got one down into Alabama and now that one into southern Kentucky, and that is the only warning that remains in effect across Kentucky. And that's tornado warning is out for just a few counties down there until 7 this morning. Yeah, it's never going to see the expiration time of 7, because when that line gets out of southern Kentucky in the next half hour to an hour or so, then the overall threat is pretty much finished. There is a broken line of some thunderstorms right along our cold front that we're tracking, coming in from northwest to southeast. Most of that stuff is behaving. Most of this line is behaving, except that little troublemaker on the southern edge of this. But you look at the radar now, and just based on the pure radar image, thank goodness, this storm has weakened considerably between Corbin and Williamsburg and heading into the northwestern part of Knox County. But that tornado warning is going to take us for just 4 more minutes. But again, the radar image still has that broad rotation with it as it makes its way east now of Interstate 75. So if you're in Williamsburg, we're in good shape now. Whitley City, we're in good shape. Corbin, just hang in there just a few more minutes and we'll watch this storm passing just to the south of us that is heading. This is the Knox County line. Here's Barberville. That looks to pass just to the northwest of downtown Barberville. So keep that in mind. That's at least some good news. And overall, the structure of this storm is nowhere near as what we were seeing 30 minutes ago when we came on with this tornado warning. But nonetheless, that warning has just a few more minutes. We will see if that gets expanded downstream, or if maybe we just replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning and tag it with a possible tornado, or we just let it slide now because the overall line is in a weakening mode across southern Kentucky. But that tornado warning has just a few more minutes on it. We are 3 minutes away from the original expiration time on that. And if you look at the radar, between Corbin, Williamsburg, and Barberville, right on top of the Knox and Whitley County line, that is indeed where we are seeing the rotation that just continues to show up in a weaker form now. This is much, much broader, but that's what we're dealing with right here. And this storm moving to the northeast at 80 miles per hour is just absolutely insane for the forward movement. If for some way that thing could just hold together, that would be up into Clay County within 15 minutes or so. That's how fast that thing is moving. The tornado warning for McCreary County canceled. You can see how the remainder of that warning does include Corbin, does include northwestern parts of the Knox County area, but overall the structure of that storm continues to weaken. And I'm off camera just so I can check in to see if there's if I'm getting any kind of reports. But you know, you just look at the radar image and you can breathe a little sigh of relief with that, because it is nowhere near as stout as what we were seeing. As a matter of fact, the stronger thunderstorms, a little stronger than that, are into southeastern parts of Laurel County and over into Clay County. And let's just take a look and see what we're dealing with here. See if we've got any kind of spin showing up in those areas. Nope, we do not. You can see the wind shift in there where the winds gust up right along and behind that line. But overall, nothing that looks to be spinning into Laurel County or into Clay County. And we'll take this a little farther to the south. That is still a little bit of a spin that is showing up right on top of 26 that is heading over into the northwestern part of Knox County. And expiration time, we are less than 1 minute from that expiring. So let's see if the Weather Service allows that to go bye-bye, or we extend it a little deeper into the morning and a little deeper into southeastern Kentucky. So the current warning is that bad boy, that red polygon that you see into northern Whitley County, northwestern Knox County, and a very small sliver of southern Laurel County. That is where we've had just a bit of rotation. Nothing has been confirmed. And as 3:45, notice the red polygon just left us. The tornado warning has expired for southern Kentucky. We still haven't seen the official expiration on that one to see if the Weather Service is just going to let that one go away and not issue anything downstream, or what we're going to be dealing with. But as of right now, what we are seeing is that severe thunderstorm that is across southern Kentucky dissipating. Thank goodness, right? Tornado watch does continue in effect for this area, though, until 7. But we only have that one line, and now the new tornado warning coming in from the National Weather Service. That is a new tornado warning. And let's highlight where this is now. Let's get this on. That is for Knox County. It is for far southeastern parts of Laurel County and into southern sections of Clay County with that tornado warning that is now out. That is just to the north of Barberville. That is heading over toward southern Clay County, and the timeline on this is going to take it until 4:15. So that has now been expanded a little deeper into the morning, even though the rotation isn't as strong. So let's go through, and we are going to reset everything so we can track this with the best of them. And you guys can see what we're looking at as we make the map. So there's your tornado warning. That storm is now to the northeast or just to the east of Corbin, and it is rolling its way to the northeast very quickly. Again, the forward speed on that is roughly 80 miles per hour. So we'll look inside the storm, and even the rotation that was showing up there continues to show up weaker and weaker, thank goodness, into the northwestern tip of Knox County. But the National Weather Service extending that out of just pure precaution at this point for that tornado warning to go until 4:15 now. That includes the Ashers Fork area of southern Clay County. That would be the far eastward extent of this particular tornado warning. And let me broaden this out to show you, and we'll go in and inspect it. I mean, here we are at 4 o'clock in the morning. We really don't have any programming at this point anyway, so you guys are stuck with me for a little while longer. And again, that storm is a shell of its former self. If we get that tornado warning that continues until 4:15, I'll be surprised at this point, unless that thing can somehow ramp back up all of a sudden in the next few minutes. But the spin with that has greatly diminished, so that is certainly some welcome news. But I do want to go to Corbin. We got that traffic cam right on top of the interstate down there. Let's see what things are looking like with that. You can see the heavy rain that is coming through there, likely getting it on those gusty winds as well. And those winds are going to be strong and upwards of 40 and 50 miles an hour, even outside of that tornado warning. But again, Corbin, we're in the clear. That thing is off to our east and southeast now into the northwestern part of Knox County. So Corbin, again, you got a lot of heavy rain. Sirens hopefully are turning off right now, but they may stay on because that is the far southeastern tip of Laurel County, still under that particular tornado warning that is out. All right, so with the forward extension of that, let's reset it and let's get after it. All right, northern Knox County, need to be in your storm shelter. Be on the safe side with this. Even though the rotation is weaker, let's go ahead and hit our safe spots. Let's hit our interior room. The tornado sirens are going off here into Knox County and into southern parts of Clay County now. So let's hit those safe spots. The basement, that's where you want to be. You don't have a basement, it's the interior room, the interior hallway, a bathroom, a closet. We're going to protect our head above all else. And that tornado watch is out for that particular area until 7 this morning. There's your line of strong and severe thunderstorms across eastern Kentucky. It's more strong than severe. So the precautionary tornado warning continues in effect here into the northern part of Knox County. This goes until 4:15, gets into a very small part of southeastern Laurel County. Manchester, we're not included in this tornado warning. This is on the southern part of the county, so northern Knox County and southern parts of Clay County. Asher's Fork, we are included in this. Manchester, we are not. Barberville, it is right on top of the north side of the city. Corbin, the storm is now off to the east of us, so we'll look at this and, oh yeah, that rotation has really gone away. And so, I mean, we're almost seeing this with almost no rotation at this point. You can see how you've got the winds that are gusting up right here. There's a bit of a shift in those winds, but we're losing the spin. You're not getting that circulation anymore. And this storm was weakening as it made its way across the northern part of Whitley County. We were showing you that, and that weakening trend just continues now. So you look at this line, there's really nothing that is spinning with this anymore. Good news there. So a precautionary tornado warning. So you can see where winds, where that little stripe of green is located. Well, that's where winds are likely gusting up to 50 miles an hour, if not a little greater, but we are not seeing that spin any longer with this storm. We had it in this part of the storm right here, but that started to become broad, and now it is really just fanned out. So this is more than likely producing some pretty good winds. It sounds the part because it's got those gusty winds with it, and it is also producing some gusts that may be up to 40 or 50 miles an hour. It's a potent little thunderstorm here into northern parts of Clay County, right on top of the Owsley County line. It's heading toward Buckhorn with a lot of thunder and lightning. But again, most of these storms into eastern Kentucky now, they sound big and bad. They're not really big and bad, though. They're not packing a ton of destructive winds or anything like that, but they have a lot of thunder and lightning, so they again look the part, they act the part a little bit in terms of how they sound, but they're not doing a whole lot of damage. But look at the lightning from around Huntington, West Virginia, Parkersburg, West Virginia, right on through eastern Kentucky, toward Corbin, toward Barberville, toward Manchester, and down into Tennessee, where we just have severe thunderstorm warnings that are essentially in effect across the southeastern corner of Tennessee. So if you're watching us now into northern Knox County, again, we just had that tornado warning extended, I should say, until 4:15. So you got about roughly 20 minutes or so on that one. I don't know that it's going to see the expiration time because it's losing the structure with the storm, but hey, listen, let's hit those safe shelters. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's just be safe, right? Better safe than sorry. So we're going to get to the basement. If you don't have a basement, interior room on the lowest floor that is possible. And I put the exclamation point on this one. Protect your head. Most injuries from high winds, tornadoes, occur when debris is flying around and hits you in the head. So if we protect our head, just cover our head. If you got an old bicycle helmet, got a new bicycle helmet, use that. If you got a batting helmet, a football helmet, maybe dad's old hard hat, put that one on. That will go a long way toward offering you some protection. And where are we going to go in our home? Well, if we're in a mobile home, we don't want to be there. We want to be out of that ASAP because we want a sturdy structure, and the interior room of a closet is where we want to be. That is the area where you definitely want to be. The hallway, put as many walls between yourself and the outside as is possible. If you can get below ground in a basement, hey, go ahead and camp out there for the next 15, 20 minutes or so until we can sound the all clear and you guys can come out and everything will be hunky-dory. That's the only warning that continues in effect for the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. That is that tornado warning that is out into Knox County, into extreme southeastern parts of Laurel County, and a part of southern Clay County as well. So the radar image with this, it's more of a linear storm. There's your warning until 4:15. We are right now at the, well, around at 354, 355, so you got 20 more minutes of that particular warning. But as we go in and inspect this storm, I'm going to look inside it again, and you're just not seeing very much, if any, rotation. And what we were seeing with that a little bit ago was much stronger when it crossed out of Wayne County into McCreary County and certainly into the western part of Whitley County. But I'm not getting any reports of any kind of damage. I'm not getting any reports of sightings. And I'm looking over social media. I am looking through everything else and seeing what all is going on in terms of the severe weather coverage. And I'm just not. I'm not seeing any reports right now. So that is certainly welcome news. And we'll check through the chat room with the National Weather Service, where we can kind of communicate with the Weather Service privately, and they're sending out information. And you've got emergency management officials that are in that as well. And I'm also going to check, see what the peak wind gusts have been down there. Highest I can find is a 45-mile-per-hour gust. That was in Pulaski County as that storm made its way on through. There's a Kentucky mesonet site down in McCreary County, which would have been right in the line of this storm, and it only recorded the peak wind gust at 32 miles an hour. So far, so good with any kind of reports coming out of southern Kentucky of any possible tornado or anything like that. Again, this was more of a precautionary when the Weather Service extended that deeper into Knox County and into southern parts of Clay County. And you're just not seeing a lot of rotation with this, and nobody is going to complain about that. I just broadened this out a little bit, and you could see the structure on that storm has improved dramatically. It's losing some of the lightning, which is always a telltale sign of a weakening storm. When it starts to lose a little lightning, that storm back to the southwest of that is pulsed up just a little bit. And again, when you see the crosshairs that we pull out like this for you guys, what we can do is we can look within the typical radar view, which shows precipitation, which shows the intensity of rain or storms, and then we can look at the winds inside that storm. And you notice here what we are dealing with are winds that wouldn't suggest any kind of spin or rotation at this point. Earlier, you were seeing that spin and rotation. And even when it was at its strongest in terms of that rotation, we still haven't had any reports from that. So here into Barberville and northern parts of Knox County is where the worst of the storm is currently located. But if I'm just looking at the radar picture as of now, I mean, you look at this, would you be able to pick out exactly where the worst of this storm is? I mean, it would be more toward the northern side of this now, because it's becoming linear from southwest to northeast. So it's morphing into that little line that actually goes from Buckhorn into northwestern parts of Perry County back toward the southwest, toward Girdler and Barberville. And that would be right on top of Highway 11 there, coming out of northern parts of Knox County and into Clay County. Manchester connects Manchester with Girdler and Barberville, and you're not seeing a whole lot with that now. And I'm looking inside of it, and even there, even though we're not seeing the rotation, I'm not seeing a whole lot of what would suggest high winds with this. So yeah, you're probably getting some 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts with this as it makes its way across northern parts of Knox County. But that wouldn't be anything that would cause a lot of damage in itself with that. But that tornado warning does continue for about 15 more minutes or so until 4:15. And obviously, while that warning is rocking and rolling, we're going to keep it right here for you guys. Anytime there's a tornado warning, people always say, well, that's not where I live. I don't care. I want to get back to my programming, Survivor, what have you. Well, guess what? One day it will be where you live, and you will want us to be on walking you through it, just like the people of Knox County and Clay County are wanting to see us walking them through this right now, giving them constant updates. So, and anytime we cover about 40 different counties that call WKYT their home TV station, 40 to 50. And you know what? We take care of all of them. It's not just in my backyard. My job is to take care of everybody's backyard, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability. Some days it's a little easier than others. So your tornado warning until 4:15 here in the northern parts of Knox County, over into southern sections from Big Creek there into Clay County toward Asher's Fork and Girdler. And again, that is rolling its way to the northeast. The Hammond area, that is in the far northeastern parts of Knox County, and then you get over into Lincoln, the Plank area, the Bright Side, and Asher's Fork here, just to the south of downtown Manchester, toward Blue Hole, and again, Highway 11. These are areas that, you know, we don't get a whole lot of tornado warnings across the mountains. The mountains do not protect you from tornadoes. That much we know. We've learned that the hard way through the years, obviously. It was never a true statement, but a lot of folks obviously bought into it and believed it through the years. But contrary to popular belief, no, the mountains do not protect you from tornadoes. We've had tornadoes touch down in the Rockies at elevation 4,000 or 5,000 feet before. So it's a false sense of security, and you know, for folks who had to down here who lived through March 2nd of 2012, boy, we know all about what tornadoes in the mountains can do. So we take every tornado warning seriously, but not all tornado warnings are created equal. The one that we're looking at now is more of a precautionary measure. It's not a confirmed tornado. It is more of a, hey, this storm had some rotation a little bit ago, and we're going to keep this tornado warning going just as a precaution, and that goes until 4:15 into Clay County, small part of Laurel County, and into Knox County as well. That storm is rolling its way to the northeast very, very quickly, and it's going to continue to roll its way to the northeast. So folks into Hayden, you know, you're looking to your west and you're thinking, oh gosh, this tornado warning is now to the Leslie County. It's almost into Leslie County. Hang in there, because the storm has weakened considerably. And to prove that, let's go ahead and take a look at it. We'll give it, as I like to call it, an MRI or a quick X-ray. So now you're just seeing this producing straight winds. And there's little to no rotation left in this storm. And the Weather Service down in Jackson, you know, we don't issue warnings. We get yelled at a lot because we're cutting in for tornado warnings or, you know, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, what have you. But the warnings, we don't issue those. Those come from the National Weather Service offices. And for our coverage area, we have 4 different offices, actually. We got the National Weather Service in Louisville, National Weather Service down in Jackson, into southeastern Kentucky, National Weather Service Wilmington, Ohio, covers northern Kentucky, and then northeastern Kentucky. We've got 4 counties up there that are covered by the National Weather Service in Charleston, West Virginia. So we got 4 different Weather Service offices that are covering the WKYT viewing area, and that can sometimes make for a bit of a dilemma. But boy, you look at this line of thunderstorms. Let me loop this for you. And this is a 2-hour radar loop. All right, so you can see how the lightning is kind of going away here. So we're losing the lightning, which is a telltale sign of a weakening storm. Yeah, that's what we want to hear. And we'll continue to see that progressing its way to the east. So hey, if you're watching us right now into Laurel County, Whitley County, we've been hearing those sirens for a while, haven't we? Yeah, we got the all clear now. You're still getting on some thunder and lightning, some heavy rain, but there's no tornado warning. The tornado warning continues just to the north of Barberville. If you're in Corbin, we're okay. Barberville, I think we're okay now. The worst of that is to the northeast of us, where you may be getting some higher winds into southern parts of Clay County and across northeastern parts of Knox County. This is heading toward Asher's Fork. And again, there's very little rotation, if any, left in this. So you see that almost straight line of some green in there. You like to see that, because that means that all the winds are just going straight now. There's nothing that would be spinning within this. So that is more of a straight line wind event that is working its way toward southern parts of Clay County. London, we're okay. Let's take a little trip to the north and northeast. We see those storms around Buckhorn, Campton, Salyersville, up into southern parts of Morgan County. Strong thunderstorms. Again, These have much more, they're loud. They're barking, they're just not biting. And that's how we like it. This storm, this cluster of storms was always expected to be weaker into eastern Kentucky, and that is the case outside of that southern edge of that. Look at all the lightning down into Tennessee. That's where they've got numerous counties that are under severe thunderstorm warnings. We had a host of counties across southern into Tennessee that were under the severe thunderstorm warnings a little bit ago. And you had all kinds of tornado warnings back around Nashville, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Possible tornado there. We had several tornado warnings a little earlier into central Kentucky. Had a tornado warning that was up into Cynthiana, Harrison County. That was 2 hours ago. That thing is long gone into Campbellsville. The good news about all of this is that we have not had any reports of damage anywhere where we've had those tornado warnings. Now, the bad news about this, and yeah, Bailey with the bad news here, right, is that tomorrow, yet we're not dealing with severe thunderstorms, but we're going to be dealing with high winds. We may have some wind damage tomorrow. The sun is going to come out. You may have gusts tomorrow, 50 to 60 miles an hour across central and eastern Kentucky. We have been through that a couple of times already, haven't we? Okay, more than a couple times. We've been through that a lot. And this shouldn't be anything like what happened on March 3rd. Shouldn't be anything close to that. But we are going to see the winds tomorrow that can reach 50 and 60 miles an hour. We had that happen last Saturday across eastern Kentucky. Had a lot of wind damage and a lot of power outages. And I think tomorrow we'll see some power outages again across the eastern half of the state. And that is indeed where the strongest winds tomorrow are going to be. Those will be non-thunderstorm winds. And this is, I should say tomorrow, this is later today. We are tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're already into Saturday, and those gusts today, later today, late morning into the afternoon, may reach 50 plus miles an hour. And we look back at March, which wrapped up, I guess, appropriately with severe weather and high winds on the final day of the month. It came in like a lion and went out like a lion. There was no lamb to be had in the month of March across Kentucky. So this was, by all accounts, the windiest month in recorded history for Kentucky, and certainly in Lexington. We had constant wind gusts, and we peaked at 79 miles per hour in Lexington back on March 3rd, which is the highest non-tornado wind gust ever recorded in Lexington. Back in the 1940s, we had a weak tornado that hit out near Keeneland in the 1940s that produced a wind gust, I believe, at 85 miles an hour, which is the official highest in Lexington. Speaking of, there's your tornado warning that has just a few more minutes left on this. We're down to 8 minutes with this, and the storm has weakened considerably, which is welcome news there. It's losing the lightning, it's losing the overall structure, and that line of storms. Now you can see how we're essentially just tracking a linear band of some gusty winds, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see those tightly wound colors of contrasting colors side by side. But nonetheless, the Weather Service keeping this tornado warning going for just a few more minutes. I would imagine, I would hope, that is allowed to expire coming up at 4:15. And we look downstream on this particular storm too, and that would be heading into Hayden, into the Leslie County area. Well, now we've got a new tornado warning that has been expanded. That goes for southern parts of, goes into Leslie County, goes into southern parts of Perry County, and into Letcher County. So we're getting that expanded farther to the east, and the Weather Service is, man, they're being very cautious tonight by keeping this tornado warning going. This is going to go until 4:45 now for Clay County, Leslie County, Letcher County, and into Perry County, southern parts of Perry County. So there is your brand new tornado warning that is out that has been extended farther to the east. Again, but this whole line has weakened considerably, and we so far so good in terms of any damage reports. So we're going to go through here. I'm going to clear out a lot of what we had been showing you, and we're going to move everything a little farther to the east. So you folks get to see how the sausage is made here, as the old expression goes. Okay. So there you go with the tornado warning that is expiring coming up in a few minutes for Clay County and into sections of Knox County, and that newly issued tornado warning that is going to take us until 4:45 for a very small part of Clay County into Leslie, Letcher, and the southern half of Perry County. So that's what we are dealing with as of right now. So we'll stop this, we'll go inside, and we will look to see exactly what is showing up on this radar image. And again, there's very little rotation with this, but let's go ahead and hit our safe shelters, our safe spots to be on the safe side here. So sirens are going off into Leslie County. They're going to be going off into the southern part of Perry County and into areas west of Whitesburg into Letcher County. But again, what we're dealing with here, we've had no reports of a tornado. We've had no reports of any kind of damage. And we are seeing that becoming more linear. You're not really seeing much in the way of rotation with that storm, as it's more of a line of just strong thunderstorms right now. But that tornado warning, Weather Service deciding to be uber cautious as of right now in putting that warning farther downstream. So again, Perry County, Leslie County, over into the Letcher County area, hang tight with us, okay? Because this warning is going to continue for a half hour or so, and that's going to it's going to activate your phones right now. So if you're watching us into Hazard, if you're watching us into Hayden, your phones are waking you up. So the alarms are going off and you're thinking, okay, what am I waking up to? So here's the situation. You've got a tornado warning that is out for areas south of Hayden, south of Hazard, and to the west of Whitesburg. It is a small sliver of real estate that is included in this particular tornado warning. We've had a tornado warning going for a little more than an hour now. We've had no reports of tornadoes. We continue to track this storm, though, farther to the east, and you've got a tornado warning out of an abundance of caution from the National Weather Service in Jackson. So that's what we're waking up to. Hang right here. As long as there's a tornado warning, I'm going to be right here to walk you guys through this. And we're not going to leave anybody hanging. We never have, we never will. And it doesn't matter which corner of the state you're in. Our job is to take care of you folks. So the Moselle area up toward Hayden is where the greatest possibility of that tornado is. And it's embedded within a line of storms that is continuing to run out of steam the farther east that it gets. And then the farther north, you can see we're really losing that lightning across the northeastern part of the state as of now. So let's set it all up for you. Let's show you exactly what we are dealing with. The tornado warning into Knox County and Clay County is expiring here in just a couple minutes. That's essentially over with because the storm is now east of that. That prompted that new tornado warning to be issued into Leslie County, into southern Perry County, and a small part of Letcher County. Now that is outside of where the tornado watch is. The tornado watch did not include those counties. And this, you know, this is a real pet peeve of mine when we issue watches. Watches should be much more expansive, and then you get hyperlocal with the warnings, right? So I never like to see tornado warnings coming without a watch for a particular county. So cast a bigger net with a watch, and then you get specific with the warnings. I mean, who cares if you don't get a tornado warning? We pray we never get a tornado warning out of it, right? But cast that bigger net with a watch. Let's not be stingy with the watches. So here's our storm again that is rolling its way with a tornado, possible tornado, here into Clay County, Leslie County, Letcher, and Perry. That is just a small part of Clay County. That is now the possible rotation with this would be coming out of Clay County and heading toward Hyden. But you're looking at this. I mean, you guys can see this. This is linear. There really isn't anything that is wrapping up as of now. It doesn't mean it can't pulse back up, I suppose, or can't cycle back through and try to get a little more spin with it. But as of right now, it lost its rotation. It's lost its rotation for the better part of the past 30 minutes, to be honest with you. But this is the part of the cell the Weather Service is watching. And you got to remember, now we're within a really good view. The Weather Service radar in Jackson is right here. So this is just a few miles away. So they got a really good look at this storm. And so do we. We're using that particular radar because we're close to this now. So they're seeing the same thing we're seeing with that line that is working its way. And we broaden that out a little bit because the overall structure of that is now more linear as it rolls its way to the east. But nonetheless, you're jolted out of bed here into Perry County, into Leslie County, and into sections of the Letcher County area west of Whitesburg. Hang in there. We're going to get through this. Promise you guys. All right. So we're watching that storm that continues to pack some high winds, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, and the outside chance for a quick spin up of a tornado. There's no confirmed tornado. As a matter of fact, we've had that warning going now continuously for well over an hour. And we've haven't received any reports of damage. I checked the chat room with the National Weather Service. I'm not seeing any damage reports. Now it's night. A lot of folks, there may be some damage. Nobody's seen it. But so far, we're not seeing a whole lot. But the lightning with that is still there. So it may have increased the amount of lightning with it. So we'll continue to watch that as it tracks off to the east. But if you're into Leslie County, you're into southern Perry County and western Letcher County, just do me a solid. Get to that safe shelter right now and protect your head. If you're in a mobile home, you got time to get out of it, go ahead, get out of it quickly. Get to a safer shelter, sturdy structure. Call up a friend, just go knock on their door. They got a home, brick home, just knock on it, say, hey, we got to come in and crash for a few minutes, all right? And then we're going to seek that safe shelter. Here's that line of some stronger thunderstorms to the north of all of this, and then there's a second little line that may have some gusty winds with it from Moorhead to Lexington, and that is rolling its way to the east and southeast very quickly. But you can see how this whole line is not too far away from getting out of the southeastern corner of Kentucky. And look what's coming in behind it. Nothing on radar, but tomorrow's winds or today's winds aren't going to be showing up on radar because they're not coming from thunderstorms. They're coming from a big low pressure that's wrapping up in a tight pressure gradient that may produce winds later today, 50 to 60 miles per hour. So if you're watching us right now into Leslie County, into the Perry County area and Letcher County, seek that safe shelter. We're going to get through this. Kiddos, you're waking up right now. You may be scared to death. Hang in there. I promise you, you're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to take our precautions. So remember, kids, all of the tornado drills that we've done at school over the years. I think we just did one, earlier this month. First week of the month of March, we had severe weather week. We had that tornado safety drill. Remember what you guys did then? That's what we're going to do now. And we're going to listen to the older folks who are with us right now. And we're going to get in that storm shelter. Parents, get them in there and, give them an iPad or whatever to play a game or two on, maybe sing some songs. Keep me turned up here. Get to your safe shelter just so you can hear my voice. And then we'll give you the all clear when it is okay to come on out. So that's what we want from you. And that safe shelter is the interior room of your home. The lowest level is where you want to be. You do not want to be near those outer walls. It's like adding an extra layer of safety. You put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. It's like when you're cold at night, you throw in some extra blankets, right? Well, think of this as an extra blanket to protect you from the winds that are outside. So you get to that interior room, the areas of green there are the places to be. The basement is preferable, but obviously, I know a lot of us, most of us do not have a basement. So we're going to get to that low floor, the lowest floor, and we're going to get to ground level, and we are going to cover our heads above all else. And I always say this, we don't care how silly we look, if we got an old batting helmet, anything like that, a hard hat, you got an old football helmet, and put that one on, because that may end up saving your life at some point. I had an old hard hat here at the station actually a little bit ago, but what I've got, this is the only thing I could find here, an old football helmet, all right? I know, we don't care how goofy we look, it's protecting ourselves. So kids, put a bicycle helmet on. If you got a football helmet, put it on. That'll protect you right there, all right? Your favorite team's helmet. I mean, maybe you got a Joe Burrow signed helmet up there sitting somewhere. Throw it up there. Throw it on for a little bit. I think Joe would be proud of you, because it's all about saving lives. And most folks are injured from flying debris during a tornado or high winds. And obviously, it hits you in the head. That's going to cause some issues. So there's our tornado warning. That is going to continue until 4:45, and we're at the 4:20 mark as of right now, so we still got a little bit before we get rid of this latest warning. And by then, that is just about to cross out of Kentucky and into southwestern parts of Virginia. So that tornado warning is for a small area. Interesting to look at this, that a little kink showing up one more time here. So instead of the linear, it's got just at least a small kink that is right on top of the Perry and Leslie County line with that. So you can see where we're talking about, and that is essentially working its way toward the Daisy area of southern parts of Perry County. So we're watching this particular area. Folks in Viper, we're included in this, and that's about to cross into southern parts of Perry County. So if we are getting a little bit of a spin with that, or a weak tornado, that's where it would be. So seek those shelters there along the Perry and Leslie County border. Leslie County, that thing is just about through there. It's about to enter into southern parts of Perry County. Now, southern parts of Perry County, obviously it gets a little thinner down there in terms of the just how much coverage we got in the county. So it would cross out of there fairly quickly and get over toward the Blackie area of western Letcher County. Notice they did not include the southern tip of Knott County with that particular warning. But again, that would be near Viper. And you can see just a little bit of an uptick in the overall lightning with this. But again, we've still had no reports of a tornado with this at all. And we've had that warning going continuously now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're what, 5, 6, 7 counties deep now from where this started back into Wayne County. This started a little over an hour and a half ago right here. And now we've got that storm that it's holding together. It's a shell of what it was doing back here, but it is trying one more little bit of a pulse here as it enters into southern parts of Perry County. So that's the area if we are to get that quick little spin up. So it would be right in this general vicinity. So all of a sudden now, instead of that full line that we were looking at just a few minutes ago, it's decided it wanted to try and spin a little bit. It's not completely wrapped around, but you can see that little bit of a kink that is showing up in that line. So right on top of the Perry-Leslie County line is where we would be dealing with a possible tornado. So again, here into Perry County, into Leslie County, we're about to sound the all clear for you, because that spin is now getting into the southern half of Perry County from Viper to Daisy, and then toward the Blackie community there into western sections of Letcher County. This storm is moving to the east at about 70 miles an hour. So it slowed down a little bit compared to what we were dealing with over the course of the 80 mile per hour forward speed on this. So again, little tightening up here south of Hazard now, that is making its way into southern sections of Perry County. So it is interesting to note how that decided it wanted to kind of ramp back up just a little bit with that, but I'm still going to check everything and social media and everything like that, because we haven't had any kind of reports. Now keep in mind, it is dark. It's, what are we, oh gosh, almost 4:30 in the morning now. Been a long day. But that possible tornado continues to roll its way through. So that tornado warning continues in effect until 4:45. And the extent of this, you're now seeing that being updated, the tornado warning being updated here. So we'll put the new part of this on, as this is now just a very small part of Leslie County into Letcher and Perry, and that's going to go until 4:45. So they're chopping the back edge of that off as that little bit of a spin does continue to get farther to the east now. So, okay, there's our warning. There's the rotation, and that rotation tightening up ever so just a little bit here in the past 5 minutes or so again. And you can see that little spot of some brighter greens against the reds. Now it's not completely wrapped up, but it's got a little more spin than what it has had for the past hour. This thing wasn't spinning at all until the past 5 minutes or so, and then it decided to pulse right back up here as it's making its way into the southern part of Perry County. So Hazard, we're okay with this. I'm going to watch far southern parts of Knott County too. This is working its way to the east. Now that tornado warning doesn't get into Letcher County, doesn't get into Whitesburg, but that possible spin into the southern half of Perry County is going to continue to roll its way toward the Perry, Knott, and Letcher County line. So if we are to get a tornado out of this, it would be right in that area. Hazard, we're north of this. This would be Viper. This would be in the Daisy area. So if you're in those two spots, you need to be in your storm shelter immediately as that continues to spin its way across the southern part of Perry County. That is the only warning across the entire state, and it's been with that same cell that has had some spin with it for a couple of hours. Farther to the north, farther to the west into central Kentucky, hey, there isn't anything that is going on. Yeah, you got a little rain and some gusty winds, but the overall coverage of the thunderstorms continues to diminish as that cold front makes its way into central Kentucky. So we can look at what we're dealing with here with that current warning that is out. And again, small piece of real estate, but it is a tornado warning that is out for far eastern parts of Leslie County, southern sections of Perry County, and a small sliver of northwestern Letcher County. This does not include the city of Hazard, but it does include the areas of Viper, and it does get into the Daisy community as well of southern parts of Perry County. So for the folks who are awake right now into southeastern Kentucky, and I would imagine it's a lot of folks down there because, you know, being a mountain boy myself, I would imagine that for folks down here who are into Leslie County, into Perry County, and Letcher County, where we've had that tornado warning, man, you know how it gets when there's the threat of bad weather. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Right now, your phone is probably ringing off the hook. Everybody's checking on their neighbors, their family. That's how we roll in the 606, how we roll in the 859, and everywhere for that matter. But we're concentrating on the 606 right now into southeastern Kentucky, where that small little spin is still showing up here into southern parts of Perry County, the Daisy area. And so it's broad, but it is there nonetheless to the south of Hazard. So I got to step off, and because that thing is moving at 70 miles an hour. I'm not talking about the wind speed, I'm talking about the forward speed of this. It is moving at 70 miles per hour, so I have to adjust the radar. And again, the worst of this is trying its very best to get into far southern parts of Knott County, where we do not have a tornado warning. So I'm going to adjust everything farther to the east. That way we can get the best coverage on this, and we can kind of track that spin as it continues to show up. But you look inside that, and the rotation is still pretty broad overall. There's one little spot right here that is just to the east, I believe, of Viper that would be a little concerning. Yeah, there's Viper into Perry County. So, and there's Daisy. So again, that would be the area of some concern here. But you're not seeing that totally wrapping up around. But you're getting enough of a spin on, let's see, that's Route 7, you got 15 there, Viper down to Daisy. If we are to get at least a weak spin up, it would be right here. Here's Vico. Hazard is just to the north of us. So it's fairly broad, but this little area right here on top of Viper, between Viper and Daisy and toward Vico, if we're going to get a weak tornado touchdown or even a funnel cloud, it would be right in there. You can see that sweep goes through and it broadens it out a little bit, but there's almost just a little bit of a weak spin south of Viper on that image. So I would imagine you may get the Weather Service to throw southern Knott County in that. So if you're into far southern Knott County toward the Red Fox area, yeah, you may want to go ahead and just do me a solid and hit that storm shelter just to be on the safe side with that, because that is a little too close for comfort. There's the Blackie community into western sections of Letcher County. It's Highway 7, and that would be the area where you need to be seeking shelter. So if you got some friends, you got some family down there into southern Perry County, give them a call, give them a check on a status check right now, especially if they're at Viper, over toward Vico or down into Daisy. And if you got some relatives into far southern, south of 15, far southern parts of Knott County there, give them a call, say, hey, Bailey said get to your shelter just to be safe. And likewise here into far northwestern parts of Letcher County, where that tornado warning is out for another 14 minutes. So we're at 4:31. This warning is set to expire coming up in a matter of minutes. So this storm has had a history of just kind of cycling through just a little bit. Still zero reports of any tornado touchdowns. And there is your small sliver of what is left of our tornado warning that will go until 4:45. We'll check on, still don't have any social media reports into the National Weather Service in Jackson. Not seeing any kind of hard evidence that there's been a tornado, which we've had no reports of that. This is more of a radar indicated. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado as of 4:24, so that was 7 minutes ago. It was over the Slimp area, or 10 miles south of Hazard, moving east at 70 miles per hour. So this storm over the past little bit tried to uptick a little bit, and now it appears to be trying to cycle right back down. But that spin is crossing out of Perry County into far southern sections of Knott County between Hindman, Hazard, and Whitesburg, and it's broader now. It had tried its very best to tighten up for a hot minute, but there's your broad rotation. That's Knott County, Perry County, Letcher County. There you go with the line from Knott County into Perry and into Letcher County. So that is a broad spin, but it is still there nonetheless. It is heading to the east at, just 70 miles an hour. Now, if that can hold together, it may impact extreme southern Floyd and Pike counties, but more than likely that would just take off shooting across 23 and 119 and head into southwestern parts of Virginia, and likely losing some more steam as it does so. Current warnings that are out across Kentucky. That is it, my friends. That is your red polygon across the southeast. That's your tornado warning that is out for Perry County, a small sliver of Leslie County. Leslie County, we're okay. That's past us now, and into a small part into western and northwestern parts of Letcher County. That is where the tornado warning is still active. So we're going to look inside this storm, and we're watching the winds. So for folks who aren't familiar with what we're looking at here, what you see outside of the crosshairs, this is just your typical radar, all right? So where I put the crosshairs, we could say, okay, within this spot, show me the winds inside this thunderstorm, and we can color code the winds based on the direction that they're going. So the green showing winds that are going in one direction, the reds would be the winds are going in an opposite direction. The stronger those two are, the tighter those two are together would indicate rotation, spin, like spinning a top on a table. You get that thing to go, you got to put your hands together and just take them in opposite directions. Well, the same thing is going on in the atmosphere. So you can see, yes, we have some contrasting colors that are going on here, but you don't have that wraparound where we're indicating a serious rotation. Try to have a little weak rotation again into Perry County, but as of now, this is right about in here. It's right on the Knott, Letcher, and Perry County line, and the majority of that is now heading toward the Blackie community here into northwestern Letcher County and rolling its way quickly to the east. I mean, this thing is moving at 70 miles per hour. It is wasting zero time. Now, it is slowed down at 70 miles an hour. Yeah, this thing has slowed down a little bit because it was moving at 80 miles an hour. And this is outside of the tornado watch, because of course it is. They put out this small little tornado watch until 7 that is essentially now no longer valid, because look at where the watch is, look at where our warning is, and look at where the radar is. All of that is off to the east. New tornado warning expanded a little farther east now. That includes the areas I just mentioned. Knott County, far southern Floyd County, and into Pike County, southern Pike County. Now included in that. So looking at that rotation and seeing that that was traveling just a little farther north than the current warning that was out there. So we said Knott County, southern Floyd, and into the southern part of Pike County. That's where this is going. And again, it tried to pulse up again for a hot minute, and it is trying to pulse right back down now. So we're going to delete everything we were just looking at, and we are going to start from scratch again. This is what happens when you're a one-man band like I am at almost 5 o'clock in the morning now. So your new tornado warning, we'll plot this, and this is almost out of the WKYT coverage area. We do not go into Pike County or Floyd County. We go in, our coverage gets in Knott County and Letcher County, and that's as far southeast as we get. So our friends down at WYMT, our sister station down in Hazard, will be continuing that coverage into, once this storm is into Pike County, because they don't get our signal into Pike County unless it's through WYMT, our sister station down there. But there's your tornado warning until 5 a.m. So this was not expanded much deeper into the wee hours of the morning, and this thing continues to cycle back down. After it tried to pulse up for just a little bit, it is now in the process of coming right back down. So I'm going to take everything off here, and we are going to look at where this possible spin is, as I hear the rain back on the roof with that little teeny tiny band of showers here on the southeast side of Lexington at the station. There is what is left of that spin, and it's not a whole lot. It really never was outside of the first half hour of this thing, and that is going to continue to roll its way to the east at 70 miles per hour. So at that rate, this will be out of the WKYT coverage area for in about 10-15 minutes or so, and that will be heading over toward the Dorton area, and I believe that would get into Elkhorn City, southern and south Virgie, parts of Pike County, southern Floyd County, maybe McDowell included in that. And we can go in and show you these areas. So, yep, we're still going strong, folks, at almost 5 o'clock in the morning. Hey, we've got a morning show that starts at 6 a.m. I'm hoping you guys don't see me for that morning show. I hope not, and not just for my sake, but I hope that the weather's calmed down for you guys, not for me. I'll sleep at some point. If you guys have followed me through the years, you know me and sleep, we don't get together too often, especially when the weather's bad. I mean, I'd be up tweeting at this point anyway if we weren't in here, right? So what is left of that continues into the Whitesburg area, or north of Whitesburg, into sections of the Blackie community of northern Letcher County. So that is where the worst of this storm is as of right now. So if you're watching us in Hazard, you're in Hyden, hey, you know what? We're good. You guys will sound the all clear for you. We are in good shape now. The worst of this storm, that tornado warning, by the way, into those areas is going by the wayside here very shortly. Colson, well to the north of Whitesburg. Whitesburg, we're all clear. This is going to head up to the north of us toward the Tilley area into Lucastown, and eventually we'll try to get into southern Knott County. Alice Lloyd College is right there at Pippa Passes. And this is just to the south of Alice Lloyd and Pippa Passes with that tornado warning. That gets into the Weeks-Barre area. It does not include McDowell. So McDowell's just a little farther north of this. This only gets into Weeks-Barre of southern Floyd County. Wheelwright, there we go. Wheelwright is down there. Been a minute since I've been to Wheelwright. And then over toward Dorton and the Robinson Creek area and Millard. And those are areas in Pike County, Dorton up into Weeks-Barre in southern Floyd County and up toward the Robinson Creek area. So our friends in southeastern Kentucky, that is coming toward your area. Your phones are lighting up right now. And again, I would bet you dollars to donuts that folks who are down here right now are on the phones. They've got the police scanners that are going wild right now and listening to every move that officials are making across southeastern Kentucky to see if we had any kind of damage. And right now we're not seeing any. Have had no reports of damage. I can't say that there is no damage. I'm just saying we have had no reports of any damage across southeastern Kentucky at all. So that is certainly at least in that respect, that is some welcome news that we've had no reports of damage. I'm gonna check my Twitter feed here, and I'm not getting any kind of reports across those areas. So that's good news. And so the precautionary measure with those tornado warnings continues from the National Weather Service down in Jackson. The overall broad view here to kind of set the stage, see what else is kind of cranking out there. Not a whole lot. I mean, that's the only game in town. It's been the only game in town for 2 hours now, and it is it's almost out of the state. So hang in there. But I'll tell you, that thing, it's been a shell of its former self for a long while now, and the rotation with that has never been the greatest in the world, but it's still spawning that tornado warning from the National Weather Service in Jackson. Some additional strong thunderstorms are from the Big Sandy Valley, Paintsville, Johnson County, north of Prestonsburg over toward Inez and Martin County, over into Mingo County into West Virginia, and that stuff is going to continue to roll its way to the east and northeast. Folks, if you're watching us right now into Lexington saying, hey, what about us? What about us? Well, there's nothing going on. So, but you know, we'll show exactly what is going on right now across central Kentucky. You may hear some rain on the roof, but nothing that is severe. But I do want to caution you guys that as the day wears on, we are still going to have some big winds come through here. A little later this morning into the afternoon, non-thunderstorm winds of greater than 50 miles per hour. Stop me if you've heard that one before. You know, we flipped the calendar to April now. Today's the first day of April, but Mother Nature says, no, I'm going to give you everything for this first day of April that I gave you guys in March, which was wind, and then some more wind. And that's indeed what we are going to see out there today. We may see some power outages across parts of the region with those gusty winds, especially across eastern Kentucky. So there you go with that tornado warning across the far southeastern corner of the state. And this is just about out of the WKYT coverage area. And WYMT, our sister station down in Hazard, keeping the coverage going as those storms do make their way. WKYT, we only get into Knott County and a part of Letcher County. That's the farthest southeast that we go. Technically into Floyd County and into Pike County. You belong to our station down in Hazard and over in Huntington, West Virginia. You're technically in that market. And so they'll hopefully take care of you guys too. I mean, I'm talking to you if you're watching us streaming right now, and I hope you are, and I'm hoping that some folks down here are seeing this. But again, we're not going to just flat out leave you guys, but our TV signal does not get down in there. But here's the current image, and yeah, there's nothing. There is nothing there. That is, and again, we've had 0 reports with this. And the current status on that is the weakest that we have seen the entire night. And broaden that out just a little more, and yeah, I mean, that's not even a severe thunderstorm at this point. I don't think we've even been dealing with a severe thunderstorm for more than an hour at this point. But hey, the Weather Service is in charge of putting out the tornado warnings, and so as long as there's a tornado warning in our coverage area, we're going to stay on the air for you guys. I mean, I don't know what our normal programming would be right now, but I would imagine it's probably some kind of infomercial at 4:44 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I'm usually in bed about this hour unless the weather's bad, and the weather's bad, and here I am. Severe thunderstorms into Tennessee have really taken a lot of the energy out of anything trying to get into southeastern Kentucky. But hey, if you watched this for the past couple of days, we showed you how that risk area was much lower across eastern Kentucky than it was across the rest of the region. And you're seeing why now. This line of storms has weakened tremendously across eastern Kentucky. Still some severe thunderstorm warnings, and now I see a tornado warning for our friends just to the west of Knoxville, just coming in. See that little red polygon that is blinking west of Knoxville? So if you got some friends down there, some family, give them a call. Tell them, hey, I mean, their phones are probably going off right now, but yeah, they've got a tornado warning that is around Knoxville. And all of these storms, what's happened with this setup is that since early on Friday, we've had a lot of shear available ahead of this system from the Mississippi Valley, the Plain States, all the way to the Appalachian Mountains. That just means the storms that were out there, we didn't have a lot of instability. You didn't have warm temperatures today. You didn't have humidity that was off the charts. You didn't have a lot of buoyancy in the atmosphere, but you had a lot of change of wind direction from the base of the thunderstorms to the top of those thunderstorms. And then you had a change in the overall wind speed as well. We call that shear, and that's what has set some of these storms off to spin just a little bit. But you look at that radar image across southeastern Kentucky, and that has weakened considerably, and even more considerably. But that tornado warning, alas, is still ongoing into far southeastern Kentucky as of right now. So that warning, the Weather Service in Jackson is going to hold on to this thing, and that is just about to cross out of, I mean, there's nothing there. There's absolutely zero there. I mean, you're not even seeing a wind shift line anymore. But again, that is what is left of that is right here, heading toward Weeks-Berry in southern Floyd County, far northern Letcher County, folks in Dorton. It's coming your way, but there isn't a whole lot of it to it. It is more of just a shower with a little thunder and lightning with it, a little weak thunderstorm or a thunder shower that is working into those areas as of right now. So we'll see what the Weather Service in Jackson does with that. No reports of anything with this along its 2-hour track now. And again, they've put these out of an abundance of caution. Wee hours of the morning, and the atmosphere showing the shear that we've had and the spin that has been available for any of these thunderstorms to tap. So while I get it, at some point you got to say, okay, these storms, even though we're seeing just maybe a little rotation, we're not getting any reports from those. That has to at some point be taken into account. And if all of a sudden, all the radar looks okay for maybe a little bit of spin, but then they go through a county and the counties, the officials there say, nope, we barely had any wind with that. We certainly didn't have any damage. Then there's a missing ingredient with that particular thunderstorm to produce a tornado. And that is a great thing. We would love to have every tornado warning produce nothing. And we hope that is certainly the case with what is left across southeastern Kentucky. But I do want to prep you guys for what is coming our way a little later on today, and that's going to be the high winds that will be noted across the region. We may have those gusts that are going to be up there at 50 to 60 miles per hour. You know what I do have into southeastern Kentucky? I do have a Pikeville cam. So I decided to pull that one up real quick, and yeah, it's wet. It's raining into Pikeville. That little bit of spin is well to the south of downtown Pikeville, and that's what we're looking at there. That would be out, I believe, near the Walmart there on 23. But your tornado warning is in the far southern parts of Pike County, and I know that a lot of my TV colleagues who are watching this as well and doing their thing are probably thinking the same thing I am. At what point are we going to call this one off? Because we all are looking inside this, and again, you can't even see any kind of semblance of a wind shift line, let alone rotation within that storm. But our protocol is to anytime there's a tornado warning, we're going to walk you through it. We're here to save lives. And a lot of times during the evening, it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody's going to complain about us cutting in. But a lot of folks sometimes in the middle of the day, when your story, your soaps are on, we cut over that, or Survivor or something like that. Man, they want their programming. But you guys got to remember that our number one job is to save lives. It is to give information out. Entertainment comes last. Guess what just happened? Our tornado warning is canceled across southeastern Kentucky. That thing had a run of a little better than 2 hours, but we have now canceled that tornado warning across southeastern Kentucky. The current warnings map, we have no warnings anywhere across central and eastern Kentucky, and that is a beautiful, beautiful sight. So we're going to conclude this long day of weather broadcasting, and here we are on our Saturday morning. So the severe threat is ending, but later today we still have the potential for winds to reach 50 miles an hour or a little greater with sunshine. So that can do some damage. We may have some power outages as well across especially areas along and east of Interstate 75 as we go through the late morning into the middle of the afternoon. Then it turns really cold. We'll have a hard freeze on Sunday morning. But hey, all clear now across southeastern Kentucky. No tornado warnings are in effect. So if you got some friends, some family, some loved ones down there, you know what? You've been checking on them anyway. Go ahead. They're up. Give them a call. Say, hey, you're good. Go back to sleep. All right. Thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate it. Of course, WKYT News Saturday morning edition is a little over an hour away from starting. So I don't think I'm going to be here for that one. At some point, I got to take a nap, right? So stay with us here on WKYT. And again, we're in the all clear right now for severe weather. WKYT News at 6 a.m. will be starting in a little over an hour. Have a great Saturday and an even better weekend, everybody. Take care.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already